Hi, welcome to Watch the Time and my long-term review of the Spinnaker Fleuss. Now, this was my first Spinnaker and I kind of fell in love with it, but I've had it for a while now. I've worn it quite a lot and I feel that I'm now in a position to give you my final thoughts on it and as a long-term review. So the honeymoon period is over. I've worn it a hell of a lot. I've taken it on holiday with me. I've worn it in the evenings, in the daytime, for work, for swimming. It's got wet. It's been in the shower. So I've used it like an everyday watch. It's sort of okay as like a dressy watch. It's okay as a work watch. I think it's a really versatile watch, and I've really kind of put it through its paces. I've then left it off and sort of gone back to it, and it's kind of like it's like an old friend. This one, when you put it on your wrist, it's like because it's and this could just be me. It's just perfect size for me. It's comfortable. The strap is comfortable. We'll talk more about the strap because that does I know that does irritate a few people, the straps on these, but I'll give you my thoughts on it. Accuracy wise, I've got no issue with it whatsoever. It's running well within specs. I think it's about +5 a day. It's not enough for me to even worry about. I've got a couple of niggles with this, but it's more of a style thing rather than a function thing. So I'll actually start with that. Now, my biggest issue with this watch, and I think it would have made it so much better, is where the date window is. And I know it's traditional, it's at the 3 o'clock position, but when you've got Arabics that look as nice as that and with the batons, it would give much better symmetry if the date window had been at the 4:30 position, so you could have had the 3 Arabic there. It would have had much more symmetry. I'll just show you a watch that has that, and there you go. There you go. So that is what I'm talking about. So we've got that perfect symmetry with the Arabics, and the date window just sort of kind of blends in there at the 4:30 position. There's no surround, so we're not picking it out. It's just sort of very discreet. I mean, I'd be happy not to have a date at all, but if you're going to have a date window, my opinion is that's the way to do it because it doesn't really interfere with the watch. That is my only gripe with this, and if they were going to remake this or do a reissue of this, I would implore Spinnaker to leave the date off. At the very least, take away that white square around the date window. But if you could shift it to the 4:30 position, that would be very close to being my perfect watch. The dial itself is like let's try and get close in. It's got a texture to it. It's just different. Some people will like that, some people won't. I kind of like it. You've got a really busy minute track, but I think it works with the watch. I like the little arrows, the little sort of vintage loom looking arrows, and I like the vintage look to the loom. I think it's really nice. Very plain, basic handset, but with a very nice second hand. Really like that. I like the Spinnaker logo. The automatic I could do without. I don't mind the 500 foot, 150 meters indication, especially as that's in a kind of a reddy orange colour. That kind of blends in nicely. I do not understand why watch manufacturers still have this thing about plastering automatic across the middle of their watch. We know it's an automatic. Put it on the back or whatever. I don't need to see that on there, but you know, they all seem to do it, and I just don't understand why. The loom is really nice on this. I've done loom shots. I'll put a loom shot up for you, but the loom is really nice on this. It lasts really well. It's not Seiko quality loom, but then I don't think anything really is. But it's absolutely fine. And the fact that you've got a loomed bezel on this at night, it looks massive, the watch. It looks bigger than it actually is because of the loom in the bezel. Talking of the bezel, we've got sapphire crystal here. We've got an acrylic bezel, but I like it because it gives it a nice touch and feel. It's almost like a squeaky feel to it. It's a domed acrylic bezel, and I just think it looks really nice and it suits the watch perfectly. It's got a really nice clicky action. A lot of pressure is needed to turn it. It's not easy to turn, but it's a satisfying turn. The click is a nice dull sort of subdued click. It's not tinny at all, so it kind of feels quality. And once you get it locked in, there's no movement to it either. So I really like the bezel. I like the edge on it. It's nice and grippy. Moving on to the case, I can't fault the case really. The brushing, the high polish bits, all really nicely done. There's no issues. It's really wearing well. I've not got any marks on this yet, even though I sort of, I don't baby my watches, but I do kind of look after them to a certain degree. So I've got no issues with like the construction, the build quality or anything like that. Yeah, you see the signed logo there on the Spinnaker logo on the crown. To be honest, it makes no odds to me. I really could care less about those. There you can see the Spinnaker, the rotor. It's an NH35, so it's not the prettiest looking movement, but and if you look at the movement like that, I mean, it's really sort of like, yeah, really, why have a display case back? But if you look at the disc, if you get it like there, it doesn't look too bad. And it's an interesting talking point if you want to show people, bore the arse off them with your automatic watch. As you can see there, it says water resistant 150 metres. It's advertised in sapphire crystal. It's got the code SP5055 automatic, all stainless steel. Screw down case back, screw down crown, hacking hand winding, all the usual good stuff on the NH35. It's reliable, it's robust. I've got no complaints about it at all. And this one is working, as I say, absolutely perfectly for me. So onto the strap. We've got one of these water resistant leather straps. Now, a lot of people don't seem to like these. The buckle's brushed stainless steel with the Spinnaker logo. That's really nice. I've got no issues with that at all. Stainless steel there. So yeah, the strap. It's sealed with like plastic on the sides, and I think it's kind of impregnated, so it's a waterproof or water resistant leather strap. Now, I don't have an issue with it. I think it's flexible, it's comfortable, and that's what you want in a watch strap. It's actually wearing quite nicely as well. Now look at that, which is the side that gets, obviously, that's where the buckle, you can see where I've put the buckle there, it's starting to crease up. Now, and look at the colour changes there. Now to me that's really nice, the way that's changing colour. This side it's more uniform, but you can see there the keepers are, they've really changed. They're almost going black. And you can see that was the original colour of it. And then this one's secured in place with stitching, which is really nice. And I really like it. I like the way it's wearing. I've got no issues with it sort of breaking down, or this is the sort of the point where it gets most stress, and it's absolutely fine. Yeah, it's getting wrinkly, but you'd expect that. That's what I want to see in a watch. As you can see there, it's taking a bit of shape, but it's so flexible that it's really comfortable anyway, and you can see the sort of natural shape occurring there. It's really nice. So I don't have a problem with the strap. If I had a problem with it, I would have changed it. It's not expensive to change a strap now, and if you want to, I think that's absolutely fine, and want to put something a bit more classy or expensive, or a rubber strap maybe, or whatever. But I think the strap suits it really well. I like the fact that it's a 22mm, and it's quite a nice chunky strap. But I really like it, and I've got no reason to change it. So I'll just pop it on the wrist. Okay, so there it is on my just over 7-inch wrist, just average wrist size. I think it suits really nicely. It wears beautifully. It's so comfortable. And whenever I put this on, I'm like, oh, it just feels nice. And you kind of forget about it. There you can see the buckle sits nice, the strap sits nice. The keeper stays in place because the stitching kind of stops it from shifting too far forward. So that's really nice. There's not too much overhang. So it suits me really well. You could go on a much smaller wrist. I'm on the 3rd hole in, and obviously you could go on a massive wrist. There's plenty of room there. The lug to lug is quite long on this. It's a fairly long, sort of thin-ish watch. So I would say be careful if you've got a really thin wrist, because you don't want those lugs overhanging. As long as you've got this kind of, this this bit here to show that it's not overhanging. I think you're okay with this. You know, I think that looks really good on the wrist. You've obviously got the styling of the Blancpain. I just think this watch would be elevated to a massive higher level if we could have the 3 Arabic at the 3 o'clock position, move the date window down to the 4:30 and take away the little white square around it, and I would be an extremely happy bunny. I mean, I'm happy with it as it is, but it could just be my perfect watch. And wouldn't that be a disaster? Because what would we do then? Cost of this watch, I think, is just really good value for money. I don't want to call it cheap, but it's because it's not a cheap watch. It's a really good value, affordable watch. You can pick it up with discounts for about $250, which works out around the £200 mark. And I think what you're getting for the money is just absolutely spectacular value for money. And I don't think you can go wrong for that kind of cash. And I mean, when you look at what else is out there for that kind of money, I think you'll be hard pushed to find anything as good as this. I know the style won't be for everybody. For me personally, this is one of my go-to watches now. That you know, if I'm just wearing a watch because I want to wear a watch, not because I'm reviewing it or because it's new or anything like that, this is the one I tend to pick up. And that says a lot about it when you've got a watch collection with, I think I've got about 20 odd watches at the moment. So the fact that this is one of my go-to watches says a lot about it. So it's definitely a recommendation from me. So anyway, thanks for watching Watch the Time. I've got about 50 odd watch videos, and I'm pumping out as many as I can. I'm buying new watches all the time, new, second hand. I'm trying different brands, so I'm really trying to put as much content out as possible. I try and give you my feelings and my opinions on the watch rather than just a list of specifications. So I really appreciate your comments, suggestions on different watches, your likes, your subscriptions, and for now I will say goodbye, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers, bye.